Hello, I'm Steven,
And I'm Aaron.
and we've just seen
Undertone.
Undertone, new film that's out in theaters right now, starring Nina Kiri, Adam DeMarco, and it is directed by Ian Twasson. When Evie Babick isn't tending to her comatose mother, she's hosting the horror-based podcast The Undertone with her best friend Justin. Evie is a skeptic, while Justin is a believer, and together they try to determine the legitimacy of 10 audio files that find their way into their email. I wonder if you had the same thought watching this that I did, which is this is for the auditory what Skinamarink was for the visual.
Yes. This is a very hard movie to do. And I'm kind of like stuck between did I like this or did I think this was not very good? Because I think by the end of it, I felt like they did a pretty good job wrapping it up and creating a compelling kind of horror situation. But the road getting there was kind of dull and boring. And as a skeptic, I'm like, this is all BS. I don't believe in any of this stuff. This is nonsense.
Yeah, I lean more towards the I didn't like this very much. For what it is, it does its job fine. They do a very good job, I guess, with the very limited budget they have, so props
Yeah.
to it on that. But my biggest issue with this thing, and this was a similar problem I had with Skinamarink, was that I feel like this movie builds tension in the cheapest way imaginable. I hate jump scares. I think they are so easy, anyone can do them. And when you watch a horror movie, you know that prolonged silences are
Yeah.
always followed with a boo. And
Yeah.
this movie builds its tension on doing prolonged silence after prolonged silence after prolonged silence, making you think there's going to be a jump scare. And sometimes there is, but a lot of the time there isn't. So you're just on edge waiting for the thing to happen. And I think that's so cheap. Like, there's a big difference between startling me and scaring me. If you want to scare me, you have to make me care about the situations that the characters are finding themselves in. This felt like it was just trying to startle me. It I wasn't invested in the character so much as I was like trying to prepare myself for the next
Mhm.
big thing to
Mhm.
jump out and scare me. So that's the thing that kept me on edge, and that felt so illegitimate.
Yeah. Skinamarink it really is kind of the perfect comparison because it's trying to recall a kind of a feeling and a vibe. Like everybody can remember what it's like to be 6 years old and wake up in the middle of the night and there's static on the TV, and then suddenly everything in the house is terrifying
Yeah.
because it's dark and you don't know what's in the shadows or in the corners.
If you're in the dark, you hear wood creak and it startles you. A little shiver goes up your spine. You don't know what's what. Maybe you turn a corner, you see the cat's eyes glowing in the hallway.
Yeah, and this really is like the audio version of that where you hear a song that is totally innocuous and then you play it in reverse and suddenly there's devil worship chants going on.
Which was the other thing that irritated the shit out of me. It's like we're still doing this. This
Yeah,
was done 50 years ago in The Exorcist.
yeah. Well, the other thing is like at this point it's been so thoroughly debunked,
Yes, that too.
but one thing that I do kind of appreciate about it is that it does play with kind of your preconceived notions about something and the idea that your brain is going to hear whatever it wants to, it's going to fill in those blanks.
Yeah.
And it once you hear something, you kind of fixate on that thing and then that's just it. You can't be swayed or told one way or another that it's not the thing that you heard. But for a lot of the movie, I'm just sitting there like, none of this is real. This is all fake. This is like obviously this is going to interject with the character's reality in some way by the end. But they also don't really tie a lot of these ideas together super well. Because, like you said, she's taking care of her comatose mother, and her mother is very religious.
Yeah, Catholic upbringing, and the main character Evie struggles to maintain a normal life. Like she can't like go out and to the club, go back to the club. She can't have like a normal social life because she has to tend to her mother and her many bodily functions.
Yeah, that's the stuff that feels very personal. Like, I'm sure the director or the writer or whoever is responsible for this has dealt with that situation recently, and they felt like they wanted to make a movie around it or something like that. But it seems like that should have been more of the focus.
Yes, there's an interesting story to be told there. I feel like we don't learn enough about mother and her relationship with the daughter for me to give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. It takes so long for me to care because they really don't explore that dynamic enough, and there's not enough given with either of them to really make me wonder like what's going on here or really try to pull at some thread of a mystery. Um, that being said, I thought the last like 15-20 minutes of this movie were like pretty fantastic the way it wrapped up.
Yeah, the final set piece would make a nice little short film in and of itself.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like I felt this
Yeah,
should have been like 80 minutes.
I think that was playing through my mind throughout the entire runtime. We watched this like a couple weeks ago at this point, and I was thinking, this is a short film stretched out to feature length if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem with Skinamarink because that it felt like an 80-minute movie stretched to like an hour and 45 minutes. That's the same thing here. I thought Skinamarink was far, far more compelling and way more effective at what it was trying to achieve.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a movie I'll probably never watch again, but for what it was, I did think that it was an effective way of putting you in the shoes of anyone who's ever had that experience,
mhm.
which is everyone.
Yeah,
So there was a universal quality to that film that is not really present
yeah,
here.
there's a ton of atmosphere in that movie. You could put that on in the background, and it's like its own kind of vibe. Yeah, this one's kind of frustrating for me because, like I said, I was bored for quite a bit of it. Just like, okay,
Well, they're still sitting their asses down and
yeah,
listening to audio files.
because the structure is so tedious too, because they're doing these podcasts together, and the recording of these podcasts is so confusing because I don't really get a sense of what the show is because you think podcast, you think like 30 minutes, an hour, but the way they record these, they listen to like one 15-20 second, 1 minute long clip. They discuss it for like 2 seconds and then they're like, well, join us next episode. I'm like, that was a whole podcast? Like, what?
I got the impression also that they were recording episodes in
In
sessions.
chunks? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'd edit them together. I just remembered something else that really pissed me off. This is something that annoys me about so many horror movies. The characters find themselves in situations that are scary or unsettling, but they're always in the dark. And every time I watch
Yeah.
them, I'm just thinking, turn the light on!
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
They never turn the damn lights on.
having it broken up in chunks like that, I thought really kind of hurt the pacing and the tension. I think if you made this like they start their podcast in the evening, like 9 8 9 o'clock, and you let the story stretch into the wee hours of the morning, where everybody becomes more tired and more like out of it, and their brains aren't really working, as effectively as they can. The more they start to get swayed by this kind of idea that there might be some supernatural presence or some kind of entity that's causing these things.
Exhaustion makes them more paranoid.
Yeah, it's that kind of late night horror, like when it's 3 4 o'clock in the morning and your brain doesn't work anymore, you start to think things or see things or you hear backwards messages when there really aren't any.
I get paranoid if I drink too much caffeine.
Yeah. So there really wasn't much of a sense of escalation because they kept stopping and then starting and then stopping and then starting again. But like I said, the finale is great. So I'm it's just a frustrating watch for me. I feel like if you re-edited
I
this,
was about to say you could read this into a 15-minute movie and
y-
it'd be better.
you cut out all the times when they're like, and we'll catch you next episode, and or hey, we'll pick this back up tomorrow and we'll listen to the next couple clips. Chop all that stuff out and make it just one continuous session
Hmm.
where their sanity slowly slips away throughout the night. That's a better movie.
Yeah, I wonder if you can just edit the comatose mother out of the movie altogether. I wonder if that's possible.
Maybe, although she seems pretty important to the
Yeah.
finale.
On the plus side, I did like that all the actors here are unknowns. Like this is a Canadian
Yes.
horror film. Whenever they do that, that always helps a movie's credibility.
Yeah, I had no idea who any of these people were, and that made it a little more believable.
Jennifer Lawrence is a podcaster.
Yeah, no, that's less believable.
So, what is your final number rating on a scale of 1 to 10?
um, it's a tough one. I thought they really pulled it out in the end. I thought it was a really great like last 15-20 minutes. Getting there was kind of tough. Like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, I think I'd probably give this a 6. When it comes to endings with movies attached to them, this wasn't nearly as bad as Keeper.
No, 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 no. And also I didn't really know much about this movie. I don't think I saw any trailers. I knew that it was mostly like an audio focused movie just because of like a little bit that I've heard online.
Hmm.
But I didn't have too much of an expectation going in, although the tagline of the poster is the scariest movie you'll ever hear, which
Yeah,
is
that's
was
such a dubious claim every
yeah,
time somebody makes it.
yeah, the scariest anything you'll ever whatever is always like, oh, are we exaggerating a bit here? I think so.
Yes.
So yeah, it was nice to go in not knowing much and just having the movie play out and judging it on its own merits and not really having an expectation for it. So I couldn't really be disappointed because I didn't know what I was in for to begin with. Um, but yeah, it's got some problems. Could be better. I feel like it's very overhyped online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm. This is also a studio thing where like the studio will constantly tweet out remarks about their movie from everybody that liked it. So maybe it's just the effect of seeing so much stuff in my feed, like
Hmm.
watch Undertone. Undertone is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
You're
Watch
only
Undertone.
you're
Watch Undertone.
you're only being inundated with the positive.
Yeah, it's like subliminal messaging within the tweets. Like way too much. It's not as scary as everybody makes it out to be. It's not one of the best horror movies of like the last decade. It's just okay.
Yeah, it's fine. 6 out of 10. So that's Undertone. I'd say just watch the last 15 minutes.
So go back to the club.